And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Long Dark. It sounds like as our characters slept, the weather may have in fact gotten worse, not better, which, if that's the case, will be annoying, but we can work with it. It's not completely ruin us. It just means the delivery down to the coast will be delayed more. Okay. As bad as it sounded inside, this is not too bad looking outside. This might be good enough for me to take the plunge. Let's take the water in the travois here. As we only need like 4 liters, or only need like 2 liters on us. Take a quick gander to make sure there's no wolves in the direct path that we're going to take. There are wolves in the direct path. Couple different ways to deal with them. So there's one way to deal with them is to kill them all. The other one is to try to take the slightly different path. I think we'll try to take the slightly different path first. Which is we'll go that side. It won't be as direct, but it should work. So I've heard from the internet, and you know how reliable the internet can be sometimes. Well, mainly from the Reddit portion of the internet. That the travois takes a little bit more damage when it's not on the snow. Granted, a lot of the distance we're about to go is not on the snow, so we're going to take whatever we're going to have to do to get there. But at least that short distance, yeah, we were on the road. Yeah, it probably is taking extra damage doing that, but that's just what we got to do to go where we want to go. Okay, should be able to safely get across. We're just going to go straight to the island and then go around. And yeah, it is warm enough that this is a safe dash to take. This will deliver all of the meat, and then we'll just mainly have water and firewood, and honestly the water we can then take a trip if it's still warm enough to the fishing hut to pick up. At which point then it will just be we need to make the firewood. The firewood honestly might just be safer to not take by Troy. Or at least would be safer to stockpile somewhere that's just a straight dash. So don't take it like to say the garage. The garage is probably a bad place to take the travois. The garage is frequently inundated by wolves. And you're a little defenseless while moving the travois. And at least the firewood, you're not on a... I suppose you're not on a timer of the firewood, right? So you can bring stuff to the travois instead of bring the travois to the stuff. so. Got it to where we need it.
All this gear is slowing me down.
And we just limp the last couple inches to the trade depot. So you need fir firewood, so you can have those 3 pieces of fir firewood. That brings us down to needing 11 of those. You need cedar, so you can take all 12 pieces of cedar, getting you halfway to cedar. You need raw meat, so there's 20 kilograms of raw meat for you. And then we need to drop off the water. You have your water, you don't have your water, so you can have 4 liters of water. And then we're just 10 short. You know, I could drop 2 off, and we can go grab another 8 from the fishing site while the weather's still good.
This stuff will come in handy.
And we'll just be gathering the firewood. But yeah, I've had the worst... Well, we had the whole episode that, sort of from a productivity standpoint, was wasted for me trying to look for Old Man Beard Lichen, so he'd treat the infection. We ended up getting the infection in the end, which just meant I had to treat it and was fine. If I find more, I'll go ahead and just pick it up and carry it around. Probably does make sense to carry around 2 things of Old Man Beard Lichen. Maybe not in the state where it's immediately ready to use. That might be a little overkill, but just to carry it around. Ready for use, if that makes sense. Well, ready to be made into something useful. Okay, gave us some food. We are going to do one last travois run to deliver all the water. Is that 8 liters of water? No, that's 7 liters of water. Okay, let's grab 1 more liter for the cart, and then I likely want like 2 for me. So I'll put 1 more in the cart. Oh, let's grab a half. Grab another half. There we go. And this is maybe not from a transit standpoint the most efficient, because we're only bringing extra 8 liters along, and we could probably slow walk it with 8 liters in our pocket and be fine. We're gonna travois it, just make it a little bit faster. So we're putting a little bit more wear on the travois as a side effect, but that'll be fine. And I can see some Old Man Beard Lichen from here. I just had to come out to Misanthropes. Just manned up and went straight out to Misanthropes, it would have been fine. And then we'd probably have a little bit more condition right now. Don't think this one's shallow enough. Oh no, it's shallow enough. You just go straight up. I'm going around the long way because I thought I needed to go around the long way. I didn't. Okay, so all the water out. Move all.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Into you. So we're looking for 11 more fir, 90 more cedar. With this, we've dropped everything else off. So you're dropped off, so we're looking for the 90 cedar and the 11 fir. How much? Yeah, we'll go grab another bag of old mill flour so we can do some baking. And there we go. There's what we were looking for. Exactly that. One thing of old man beard lichen. Now, a little disappointing that we're only able to find one thing of old man beard lichen. Probably a good idea if we can get up to 4. There's another couple. This tends to be my luck. When I'm not looking for things, I can find lots. But when you need that one thing, the first thing, I have the worst of luck finding the first thing. And we can get a little bit more Old Man Beard Lichen, but 4 pieces we have is enough to treat 2 bleeding wounds. And I tend to find that if you get in a situation where you got 3, you're dead. So, like, practically dead. Well, saying practically dead, I'm saying you usually got other things you got to worry about rather than infection. Like you're almost dead from the bleeding. Like you might not get to treating yourself from the bleeding before you die, sort of situation. So usually you don't need to rush to have a 3rd bandage or a 3rd 3rd antiseptic wrap, because you're not going to get to use it. Okay, well, a lot of cured guts here. We got some socks. We need to turn it into cloth. We got some deer hide. Yeah, because we have the deer hide, let's go ahead and take the moment to do the repair on the shoes. Yeah, it's a little bit more warmth. We'd have a little bit more warmth on it, of course, if it wasn't wet. Too much wandering around in the blizzard has done that, and we haven't given enough time to dry out. 70 might be worth repairing. And then the main thing that's worth repairing at this point is the gloves, but we gotta go back out to at least the ravine to get rabbit bits. Oh, you're probably worth repairing. Yeah, so for the next thing kind of worth repairing, we're gonna go out to the ravine. The socks repair more than 29, more than 30%, so not in a rush to do the socks. Arguably, that's probably as much repair as we can do with the daylight we have left. I got enough fabric, okay. Okay, high visibility but high winds. So if I'm destination walking, this is probably fine. I can probably just wander straight over the garage, for example. This is probably not good weather to harvest the cedar limb. Like, what's the wind chill we're facing? 19 degrees of wind chill? Yeah, I don't think we'd be able to keep a campfire going at 19. So we could, like, if the weather was better, we could do that limb, but it isn't better, so we're gonna wander over to the garage. Because most of my currently cooked food is over at the garage, is basically the plan here. And as much as I'm sort of warbling about there not being a great food source at the garage, That's because what I've got mostly at the garage is the cured meat, which is the travel rations. I'd prefer not to eat the travel rations while we're sitting at base camp. Would rather, you know, eat the stuff that doesn't travel well, like the cooked meat. Which we now currently have. We have some cooked bear meat, but for a while we were getting pretty low on the stuff I want to eat when I'm in base camp, which is fish and bear meat mostly, cooked bear meat. And arguably we were still a little bit low. There's not very much cooked bear meat, and we've eaten all the cooked fish. Assume that's a flyover. Okay, the wind has died down, which could mean that if I want to and find a good opportunity to, we can go ahead and harvest a little bit more timber. Got a piece of coal in us, so if we wanted to, we could start a fire and be adequately warm. Honestly, I probably have enough sticks on me that we can do it with sticks as well. Or at least could fetch some sticks. Do the same thing that way.
I might have to drop some gear.
I'm gonna be a little lazy. We're gonna leave the fat here. I'm gonna move the meat, and only the meat. Next to the door. It sounds like there's a deer nearby. Okay, here we're at -5. We step out to where we don't have any wind protection.
I need to
It
find
looks like
someplace to escape
-5.
this cold.
Okay, so the weather has improved to the point where it would be reasonable to harvest some of the firewood we're looking for. Stuck in here. We know we got a bunch of sticks in here that we harvested pretty much for this purpose, which is to make campfires out of. So we'll pick up a bunch of sticks. I think that was the stick pile. And as long as the weather holds, let's get back to
Fingers feel numb.
harvesting timber. I see a limb there, and I see a limb there. Let's do this one first.
All right.
And we are temperature positive. We're not very temperature positive, but we are temperature positive. So deploy the axe. And then let's cook some bannock. We don't really need the calories right this moment, but we might as well make some bannock. We could use the warming up bonus from the porridge, so let's make some porridge up as well. I may also have... No, I don't have a cooked finger porridge or anything. I know we cooked one earlier, but... Yeah, we got the warming up from there.
I'm gonna have to leave something
And
behind.
it has cooled down a little bit since we started this fire. Because the fire was warming us up, and now it isn't anymore. Next thing is cedar. 3 more things to cedar.
Come on.
-7 next to this one, so we need to put at least 8 sticks in. Let's say put 10 in. There's 10 calories left on the porridge. Oh dear. Okay, we are temperature positive. The 10 sticks in, end up temp. And of course, by this point, the porridge has gone cold. That's believable. One of the bannock. I think the bannock are like cattails, where you have to eat the whole thing. So they're maybe not the best for filling up your calorie meter. Well, the filling up the last little bit of the calorie meter. They're good for sustaining it when it's like in the middle. Okay, well, it's only probably going to get colder at this point, which means we're going to have to use more fuel per fire. Probably means this is a good place to put a break in making new wood harvesting trips. Until the day ends up a bit warmer. Oh, it's a footprint. I'm like, is that like my broken arrow? Or the lost arrow or something? The answer is no. No, it isn't. I can dream about the arrow we lost to the bear. In fact, the 2 arrows well, no, one of them was broken. So we only lost one of the arrowheads, but dream about that lost arrowhead. That doesn't mean we're getting him back.
Something's gotta go. I figure out how many of these are worth keeping and how many of these are worth destroying. Because we want to fatigue the character a little bit more so you can sleep the rest of the way through the night. But at the same time, we want to kind of be productive with our time if we can. Productive with the time and calories. So disassembling bad torches is a good way to go. The answer here is probably just keep the pole. They're all pretty good quality. The way I play, obviously, is I go from worst to best torch. Load for much longer.
So that means I slowly collect better and better torches as we use up the bad ones and turn them back into sticks. So because we have so many, I'm probably going to go ahead and disassemble the ones that are below 40%.
RNG-wise, I think they have to be between, when you pull them on the fire, they're between 20 and 50%. So with even odds on that spread, right, that's 30% spread between the worst and the best. So your expectation is they should at least be 35% on average. So obviously this one's below average. Obviously we can go and disassemble that one, turn it back into stick, of course. And we got so many, we can simply accept that they should be well above average at this point if we're holding on to them. I've recently pulled them on a fire and carrying them around because they're new, and they can be bad. But if we've got a giant stockpile of them, let's make the stockpile decent quality. And then we'll walk over here. This is where we'll leave this pile, the cedar fire pile. Stuff we want to take down to the coast. And then we'll come in here, and somewhere in here we'll leave the pile of good torches. Well, I say good torches, comparatively good torches. So we'll hold on to the 5 that are above 50, and we'll actually drop everything but the 5 worst at this point. So from here, we just start dropping. And those of you who have the benefit of pausing probably figure out how many torches that I went ahead and dropped there. The answer is, from my perspective, a lot. Yeah, probably at the point where I've got more torches than I need. But that's probably a healthy place to be this late in the game. Oh, I got more cured deer hide and bear. That's good to see. Okay, we got 6 hours of sleep. That'll at least take us to morning. It'll probably still be a little too cold come morning. But we'll see. And we'll tell him he can sleep for 10 hours. He's not going to sleep quite that long. Okay. Early morning. Eat the bannock. Drink the water. And stick our head outside. Okay, this is decent weather. It's chilly. It's minus 24. But at least it's not windy. And chilly but not windy is something we can work with as far as harvesting wood. Okay, let's go pick up what we've got. We know we've had at least one blizzard. And I think technically the respawn mechanics, if you're in the map specifically, for limbs is high wind events. And we've had a couple high wind events in addition to the blizzard. So there probably is more firewood on Jackrabbit and Misanthrope. In fact, we saw there was one piece on Misanthrope. So maybe not a lot out there, but there is probably some. And we can obviously harvest stuff on the way over. Let's see, can I set up a fire here? How cold are we? 19? Okay. Sticking a piece of coal will get us up to 21 degrees of this fire. And put more than enough time on the fire.
Come on.
To harvest the wood.
I'm not sure I can
How much
carry
has
much
it warmed
more.
up? -8? Okay, so I can go ahead and pull most of the torches out of this fire. And turn some of them back into sticks. In the time when we're waiting for the porridge to boil. It is still fairly cold out there, which is one reason I'm putting the porridge on, is so we can get the warming up bonus as we travel. There we go. Just a small wolf pack in the way, yeah. Oh, there's another one we can harvest. There's another one we can harvest. We're a little overweight. That one's a fur one. I might take the time to harvest the fur one. What type are you? You're cedar. Yeah. Fur's a little rarer than cedar. We need a little bit less fur, so maybe it's a little bit less of a rush to generate it. But fur is also ideally what we want to hot and dry out there for the fishing as well.
That did it.
Lump the next piece of coal on. Again, when it comes time to all this, I can leave the water behind because we've actually got all the water we need. We're just making water to not waste. The cooking time. Plus 11 degrees. Okay, we are definitely getting close to the point where I can process more of the warmth back into sticks for the next fire. So I'm going to go drop off these logs. We're going to go pick up some more coal from the fishing spot. The coal I have at the fishing spot, weirdly, is not actually meant to be used at the fishing spot, but rather meant to be used to acquire wood for the fishing spot, is why I have it positioned there. So we're at a good position to, well, kind of do that. We're using it for the trade instead, which is a process adjacent is probably a good way to think about it. Oh, this is much better traveling weather. So yeah, we're gonna be walking a little bit slow because we've got a ton of wind in our pack, but a little slow is fine. I suppose if I wanted to go faster, we're 8 over, 9 over. I could put the travois down. But no, we'll just take the ignition with us. We'll slow walk. Oh, the other thing I can do is I don't need the water, do I? Gain a little bit of our speed back by just abandoning here on the floor 4 liters of water. Because yeah, one of the things I could have done is I could technically deployed the travois and shoved all the stuff in the travois and pulled the travois. But then I'd lose this nice fire we've got here on our torch, which is helping us stay a little bit warm. It also allows us to potentially set up campfires without having to spend another match. So I'm thinking we might do But looking at the time, that'll probably be the next part. The gathering of firewood in many ways actually feels harder and longer than actually gathering the equivalent number of pieces of meat. But that's because we gotta move around as much for it. We can't just find the bear and twang the bear. There's no bear equivalent to firewood. Though, that's probably because the trees don't attack. If they ever add into this game, which they're not going to, that would probably be where you get like 20 firewood in a pop. But yeah, the limbs are kind of like wolves or deer. They give you a decent amount of firewood, but they don't give you a lot of firewood. I also suspect in the next one we're not going to finish up the trade, because I have a feeling that to maintain my axe, I'm going to have to go find some whetstones to repair the axe. I know where I have some. I've got some... I think the camp office has some. But that means we've got to go to the camp office. To be fair, I've got firewood over there, so if we traveled light enough, we could probably pick some firewood up and come back with extra firewood as well, but... But yeah, I think in the next stream we'll have to go out to camp office and retrieve a couple of whetstones. Because chopping up a lot of firewood does work the axe pretty hard. And then we're probably... Well, we're past the halfway point on... Are we past the halfway? Yeah, we're probably past the halfway point on the firewood, but... We're probably about past the halfway point on the axe, basically, because we did do some repairs on the axe before. Before the whetstone ran out. And we're down to about half on the axe. We'd prefer probably not to take it down to 0. Although I suppose if we did take it down to 0, that offers a different solution, which is I can go out to Desolation Point and pick up the spare axe. So we got 60% of that. We've got... Okay, that's closer to 33%? Yeah, got like 60% of one and 33% of the other. So we're not quite half. Probably from a tool where we've gone through a little over half of what I can do on the tool before I need to get away another whetstone. How many sticks do I have on me? 13. Which in this weather is probably enough to harvest a limb. So there's a limb. There's even a pile of you, so we can drop some more tinder plugs to add to the timber plug stack, or tinder plug stack. Okay, how cold are we? -6. Let's add 8 sticks to the fire. And it should...
Can't feel my feet.
Hopefully get warm enough that we can harvest that. We'll put some water on the fire while we're waiting. We're gonna wander just far enough away from the fire that we're not getting enough warmth from the fire. So I'll have to toss a few more sticks on this fire. In hopes that it boosts the warmth range just enough. Probably good enough. Yeah, just good enough. Some bannock. And a porridge. Leave the porridge for the warming up bonus. And then I'm going to make a couple things of birch bark tea up because we have gone through our birch bark tea. And we'll also make a couple coffees up. I got a couple emergency coffees, got a couple emergency birch barks. Well, that was all the birch bark prepared that I've got. So we'll probably want to go looking for more birch bark at some point. It has warmed up. We're up to 10 degrees positive next to this fire. So we can harvest a decent amount of the fire and turn it back into sticks. It is coming up on, well, it's come and gone on where I should have really ended the part. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to start looking for a good place to put a part break in. If you're watching on Twitch, that also means we're coming up on the end of the stream. Sorry for the internet cutting out in the middle of the stream, meaning you lost a bit of it there for watching on Twitch. If you're actually interested in seeing that bit you missed, you can probably go hop onto the YouTube channel in the next couple days, and you can pull it up from pull it up on YouTube, because it was recorded locally, so it didn't get lost to the void. It just isn't available for live immediate viewing. I'm thinking we will slip over to the other island first. Let the episode be a little bit long. Yeah, we got 3 more pieces of wood to put away here. We'll pick up a couple pieces of coal at the fishing hut, and then we'll go over to Jackrabbit's. Is that a new corpse? One way to check, I suppose. Is to wander over and check. The easiest way to check is to check. We did have a blizzard, so it might be new. Yeah, it is a new one. Nothing on the new one, but just a new one. Yeah, we're gonna wander over to their fishing hut. Gonna pick up some coal so we can use it for harvesting fuel. And then we'll go over to Jackrabbit Because Jackrabbit is presumably the next place we would check for some more fuel. More firewood. But we're coming up, well, we've come on the point where I should put the part break in, so we're going to put the part break when we get onto Jackrabbit. But what we'll do, presumably in the next part, is then search Jackrabbit for fuel, go to the coastline if we don't find any, or even if we do find some, because we won't be full carrying capacity. Well, unless we find fur, we won't be at full carrying capacity after harvesting what's on Jackrabbit. And depending on our tool where we may head out to camp office to pick up some whetstones. Oh, that's another fish.
I need to drop something.
We'll add it to the to-be-cooked file. The ruined ones found by beachcombing are pretty good for cooking to eat later. They can't be traded because they obviously don't have enough condition to be traded. But for eating and for lantern fuel, you don't need them to be particularly high condition. Well, at least if you have cooking 5. If you have cooking 5, you don't need any high condition. When you cook them, they gain 50% condition immediately anyway. So if you don't have cooking 5, cook them when you need them. Though, you could still cook them also, I suppose, for the cooking experience, because cooking 5, I think it's like, you gotta cook like 450 things to get cooking 5. I mean, anything counts, so if you don't need to eat them, I suppose you could cook them just to get the cooking experience. But yeah, if you're trying to get edible food, they're a good source in the long run, just to pick up and stockpile somewhere. Okay, so this one I'm going to move inland, because we're not going to go right back to the fishing hut. But by moving it off of the beach, or off of the surf, it won't despawn. We can pick it up later. And yeah, even more. It's my luck with finding things. If you're looking for something, you don't find it, but won't you find the first one, and it's like it rains, it pours very often. Had that with batteries. Had that with all sorts of things during this run. Yeah, I can see a couple limbs here. So we definitely got some limbs that will harvest in the next part. There's a limb. Oh no, that's a branch. I think there's a couple limbs on the island. Might not be... There's often not very many here. I think that's a limb. Either that might be my campfire for harvesting a limb. Hard to tell. But yeah, we'll make an attempt to gather some in the next part. I think we will be able to gather some. And apparently it's actually just... With the torch going, it's just warm right now. So we'd only need enough sticks to keep the fire from going out while we run the test. Or run the harvest. Okay, this is where we're going to go ahead and put the part break in and end the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, there probably will be a part up for you tomorrow. We're currently 6 days ahead at recording. So by the time you're watching this, the next part, unless something has severely come up, should already be recorded. If you're watching this on Twitch, I don't know if due to the bad internet, if the video got broken, or the live stream got broken into 2 parts. It may have been broken into 2 parts. And I know it did come down hard in the middle, so I know some of you, if you were watching, may have been disconnected during that. Sorry, that wasn't exactly my fault. I don't really have magical powers that control the internet. I just have control over whether or not we're trying to stream or not. And it did come down. I wasn't paying a lot of attention for it to down, so you probably did miss a little bit. It will get uploaded to YouTube. So if you were interested in what happened, we were mainly futzing around trying to find the solution to I think it was the solution to the infection, or it may have been a little bit faster right after the infection was dealt with. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you can expect the report up tomorrow. Twitch, I hope you're enjoying. The currently stream schedule is we're going to do Terraformers, the Red Planet Awaits tomorrow. The day after that will be whatever's left of Field of Glory Empires. I haven't gotten around to finishing that off in the pop-up stream. Followed by Red Planet Farming, which is another sort of Martian game. It's a pretty short flash game-ish game. We'll basically divide it up in one part for YouTube for the 4 different zones. So that'll be how that gets played out. The day after that will be Victoria 3. In the last Victoria 3 stream, we did successfully get past the opium crisis and get recognition. So we're now in the phase of the Great Qing run of line goes up. I think we're really close to potentially doing some shenanigans with military goods, where it's actually so cheap for us to consume military goods that we can use it as a way to stimulate the economy real strong. So I'm expecting that to be very interesting. But yeah, Victoria 3 will be 3 days from now. The 4th day will be the return of Long Dark, where again, we're probably going to go head out to the camp office to find a couple more whetstones, because we've apparently gone through most of our whetstones. And to do all the woodcutting I need to do, I need to sharpen the axe. I probably only need 1 whetstone to do that, but we need to sharpen the axe at some point. Might technically be able to do it without sharpening the axe, but then we'd be really desperate at that point to sharpen the axe. So we're probably going out to the camp office sometime tomorrow. Where in the stream it ends up being is the debate. And with that, that's the stream schedule. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, we are recorded 6 parts ahead. So all of that should be in your past. I suppose that's some degree of spoilers for what is coming up to the channel. Yeah, because again, we're 6 days ahead. So that means, well, all the parts recorded won't be up, but they'll be streamed. So if you're really interested in seeing some of those stuff, seeing some of that content, and you can't wait and you're listening to this part, you can probably sneak over to the Twitch after VODs, and you can watch them there. As far as channel health, Twitch tends to reward people for watching live. Twitch also gets whatever the quality is when it's streamed live. So for example, like today when we had the internet just straight up cut out, Twitch is getting a little bit lower quality than what YouTube will get. YouTube will get whatever is recorded locally, compressed down to 1080p with 30 frames a second. So it should reliably be getting 1080p. Whereas Twitch will get whatever the internet can supply. And as happened today, the internet sometimes decides it's not supplying any pixels, but usually it supplies some pixels. I do have OBS set to automatically lower the quality to try to maintain the frame rate. So you should, on Twitch, you should be getting reliable frame rate. I'm not 100% sure. Twitch might actually be getting more frames. I think Twitch is getting 60 frames per second, where I think YouTube's only getting 30. But you're both getting reliable frames. What's debatable is whether you're getting reliable pixels. YouTube gets the better pixels, is I think what ends up happening. And then YouTube's a little bit better also, again, for asynchronous commenting. So if you're got any comments and you're currently watching the stream, I don't see any in the chat right now, but if now's a really good time to leave them, because I can respond to them. I'll keep the video up, or I'll keep the stream up for about a minute after I stop the recording. Otherwise, probably the best place for asynchronous comments is YouTube. Twitch is really good for live comments, whereas YouTube is better for the asynchronous ones. So if you think you have something you want to comment on, feel free to hop over to YouTube and leave it over there. It doesn't necessarily need to be on the exact same content you want to comment on if you're coming over from the Twitch stream. Though that would make sense, right? So if you wanted to comment on something Long Dark's been running long enough, you can find a Long Dark video, even if it's not the exact Long Dark video, because again, we are recorded 6 days ahead. And the plan right now is to get everything uploaded and scheduled and released on YouTube before it comes down off of Twitch. Stuff stays up on Twitch for 7 days, which is one reason why I don't record more than 6 days ahead. We record 4 parts a day, so the being 6 days ahead means I got about 2 days slop between when I do a recording and when it needs to be uploaded by. Because when I say I'm 6 days ahead, I'm 6 days ahead when I'm making this sort of commenting at the end of a stream, if you're watching on YouTube. So the next stream from the YouTube's perspective was like 2 days ago. But from our perspective here, when we're streaming it, it's actually 4 days in the future, sort of thing. But then that also means I need to get the first part of the stream up and recorded within 2 days. Otherwise, YouTube misses a part. So if you're wondering, or if you're on YouTube wondering why we try to record 6 days ahead, that's what's happening. Is actually recording 6 days ahead allows us to have your part up. What from your perspective would have been 4 days before, because or 3 days before, because we have to record 4 parts. So the first part of the recording is actually only 2 days ahead. Yeah. Where's the 3 days? 3 days ahead. So I've only got 2 days to sort out the recording and uploading stuff before it makes everything late. So with that, let me stop rambling, because we're done at the end of the video, we're done at the end of the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, there'll be a part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, the next stream will be in 4 days. So until the next part and or the next stream, I wish you all the best of luck, a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.